Vic, I was so touched by that video you put out on your Twitter the other day where it was just like it was, you going through, you're like, yeah, like a lot of people have tried to cancel me, but like here's actual footage of, these meetups and how everyone is so happy to be at them. And it's more about and you and I have talked about this too. Like when I first met you, you were like, yeah, it's not about just freedom of speech. It's also like it's freedom of listening. And when trolls or haters get your events canceled, it's not just like me, the performer, my ego is damaged because I can't have this event. But it's like, no, it's these fans that don't get the chance to, maybe you were there for them at like a pivotal point in their life or during a dark time, and they really want to go and thank you. And then if these events get canceled, it kind of takes that away from them.
Why should somebody that doesn't like you, why should their opinion matter any more than somebody who does like you? I mean, why? Why does it carry any more weight when there are 500 people that want to meet Brittany Venti? Why should we not have her because 4 people don't want her? I mean,
it would be a lot more than that. It'd be like more like 5,000.
I just, I didn't want to overestimate, but you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, we've all faced like haters or trolls and like in one way or the other, but it's ultimately the most selfish thing you can do, right? Because it's like those 20 noisy people can take down an event. Like this has happened with I did a comedy show with Josh Denny and Gavin McGinnis was there and Anthony Cumia, and Antifa actually like was able to successfully shut down the first show, which was going to be in Rutherford, New Jersey, and then they found out that the mayor had actually threatened to take away the funding for the venue.
That's insanity. And it's always like just a couple of people who are
and
then
it turns out so the show was canceled and the venue didn't get their funding anyway. So it's like they threatened them with the funding and then
fuck the mayor.
Yeah, exactly. Keanu Thompson is here. We have fans, but we also have like kind of haters that will look to clip something and clip it out of context, post it out of context and they want to make everyone involved look bad. Like some people really want me to look bad because they hate me. I feel like there's more of those people than like the other way around. But and then you're like, oh wow, like these people just want to feel involved and special and feel like they helped create chaos or they helped to burn something down. So it was like a good lesson to me to, I think, ignore these people a little bit harder because it's ultimately their feelings are ultimately irrelevant.
Chrissie, we've created a real monster in this country by elevating celebrity. Our culture just worships celebrities, whether they're athletes or actors. They put them on these pedestals and everybody, you know what I mean? That everybody desperately wants some kind of recognition. They want to feel important in some way. They want to feel relevant. They want to feel noticed. And you combine that with social media where people they don't have to do anything. They don't have to create or produce anything. They can just start garbage on the internet and all they care about is, hey, look, everybody, 50 people liked my post. They don't even care that their post ruined somebody's life. All they're interested in is that 50 people liked their post because the goal is to get noticed at all costs.
And there's way more accessibility now than there was 10, 20.
Social media has given people the power from thousands of miles away to lob grenades at you, and they don't have to prove anything. They don't have to demonstrate any facts. They don't have to produce any kind of, anything.
Receipts, as we call them.
Have you noticed that, like, if you respond to someone in the comments, for example, that's just being an asshole, and sometimes they'll just reply and be like, oh my God, you responded.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And you're like, oh, is that what we're after here? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And unfortunately, there's some, emotionally troubled and people out there that are mentally and emotionally struggling. And I have sympathy for them, and I'm sure you guys do as well. But that sympathy ends when you start hurting other people. when you start trying to hurt other people because you're not very happy with your life, I kind of feel like that's where the empathy ends. And in their own minds, they want that recognition at all costs. They will do anything to get it. I remember very little from college, but I do remember a psychology class where there was a lecture and the psychology professor was talking about child psychology this day. And he was talking about these experiments and these studies that demonstrated that children would rather have negative attention as opposed to no attention at all.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of adults like that too.
That's Twitter.
Right?
That is Twitter.
Yeah. It still shows you care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They will absolutely. They want attention so badly that they'll actually misbehave. They'll do bad things because in their mind, at least their mom or dad's paying attention to them. And at least they're being noticed. And unfortunately, I think a lot of these people and social media has given them the perfect weapon to to just get whatever attention however they possibly can.
Yeah, and
so right.
I think you can see that too, because like if you ever look at the comments, in the same sentiment as the Washington quote, Denzel Washington, they basically are always like anon accounts. Like you don't see other people who are like attractive and successful leaving like random comments that are just straight hateful, like you're ugly, you're annoying, like that type of thing. It's always a random type of account.
Yeah.
Or someone who's not doing well.
I'm pretty new to the streaming game too, and I will say it's been kind of an interesting case study in just human behavior, how parasocial things can be a little bit. So Chrissy and I met for the first time on kind of a chaotic stream, and I made a really bad joke and got called a bad name. And I'll just leave it there. I got called a really bad name. But it was kind of interesting, and it was sort of like baby's first drama. You know what I mean? It was the first like drama I had ever been in. And I made the telltale mistake, which everybody after was like, never read the comments. But it was so crazy because I would read the comments and it was like, people would be like, well, did you see she didn't even try to clear up that joke? And it's like, guys, it's not that deep. Or like, she came on that stream to like pick a fight. And I was like, I was there to build an audience and like make jokes. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing. It's so crazy.
A few weeks after, this is a person that, from what I've heard from people that under different circumstances, we all would have gotten along with, but because he came into the stream drunk and triggered about something somebody said, he kind of went off in a really negative way. Like he went off on the whole, like, if you're over 30, you have no eggs and you're useless and your opinion doesn't matter. Like that kind of like he sounded very like MGTOW, I guess.
Yeah, I think the thing is it was sort of truly the perfect storm where he kind of came in and wanted to kind of be serious and talk about this. But I feel like me and Chrissy were like trying to goof around and like laugh about dating. And it just
it's a dating
all
stream.
came together.
Like, he got dating advice and he's like, and he'd be like, you're going to be alone forever. I'm like, I'm engaged. And he'd be like, that's not going to last. I'd be like, what are you talking about?
My gosh.
It was wild.
Like, what is this about, dude?
And I have seen streams with him after. I'm like, yeah, I would totally get along with this guy. I think like we just entered the Thunderdome and things got kind of chaotic. But like I said, it was just so interesting to see the comments where like people would say, oh, she like did something that was Mean Girls and stuff. And it was like, it really wasn't that deep. I was just trying to crack jokes, everybody. And then not only that, you're sitting at a table with like 12 people and everyone's talking. And it's like,
he didn't really have a sense of humor. He took himself too seriously. It was
it was so
he
interesting.
Didn't really say you have no eggs, you're useless.
Paraphrase. He might have said it, but I mean, regardless.
Yeah, he's like 65 years old. Like you're gonna throw stereotypes at me.
Shut the fuck
I'm like,
up.
I'm not throwing stereotypes at him. Like you probably can't get hard without pills, or like you probably can't make your wife come. Like I'm not throwing stereotypes at him.
And you know what? He'll die off, and then your eggs will probably still be fine. But guess what? It doesn't fucking matter. Like if that's all a woman's worth is. What a ridiculous thing to say. That would never offend me. It's just fucking stupid.
It was the comments after were just so the stream itself, I was over in like a day or so, but the comments were just so crazy what people would interpret from them, or like what they thought was happening in the stream, where it was like, that was so clearly not what I was thinking, but I guess like your perception was that's what it was. And that's something that I always find so interesting about the internet is two people will see the same video and think completely different things, which is like, we're kind of talking about that whole like parasocial world. They'll assume who you are based on 45 minutes of seeing you on a stream or something, and not even realize like your whole backstory, as everybody has it. So it was just kind of an interesting case study in how the internet works and how people tend to work on these sorts of platforms.
You are so right, Hannah. And it always seems like, at least in my situation, the people that are the loudest, the people that make the most noise, have never even met me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's mind-boggling. They don't know me. They've never met me. They have no interaction. They have no actual stories of their own. They read a couple of things on the internet and they've appropriated this topic. And now it's their, you know what I mean? It's their mission, their vision quest to take this horrible person down. I'm like, you don't even know me. And it's astounding. People
which is crazy because
always
it's like,
have the least to say.
You meet Vic and you're like, he's the fucking best. Like, so friendly, so open, full of light and love, and like literally like it's just someone who you're around, like you are lifted like emotionally by being in the same room as him. Like you're like I'm gonna say it like you're like a special person, but when I say that it sounds like you're slow, but you're like you're a real one. This is Farron sent a couple of super chats about this whole stream situation we were talking about. The part that I don't get is I've always been taught don't burn bridges, but people have no problem doing so, but then turn around and are like, wait, why aren't you going to be friends with me? Okay, so like a double standard.
Oh my gosh, can I tell you guys a story?
Yes.
You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this story. It plays right into what Farron just wrote. When this garbage happened to me, friends of mine in the voice acting industry that I've been friends with, and I mean, I genuinely thought we were friends. I mean, I'm one of those stupid, naive people who assumes people are your friends unless there's some reason for them not to be. And voice actors and people that I thought were my friends that I'd done hundreds of events with and hung out with and gone to dinner and had cigars and talk and friends, and I directed them in shows and they directed me in shows, and they would jump on these other bandwagons just because they thought it would benefit them somehow to throw me under the bus and jump on this bandwagon. And then they would 2 years later would write me and like ask for my help with something.
Wow.
The audacity.
And you're like hashtag never forget,
Yeah. I love a 9/11 joke.
And I don't you know what? And
I go again.
I hope I don't mean to wax religious here, but it's who I am. So I apologize to you guys in advance. My first instinct was no chance, like screw you, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe you would, what is wrong with your brain that you actually would even think that I would do that? And the immediate second thought is, that is not who I want to be. That is not who I believe God wants me to be. That is not the kind of grace and mercy and demonstration of kindness that I think Christ would want. And if I am a Christian, if I claim that name, this is a perfect opportunity for me to demonstrate grace to somebody who has thrown me under the bus.
Wow.
And so I wrote them back and said, I will do that. And I will help. And I made some calls and set some things up for them, because I even though I wanted to be like, yeah, well, where were you when this was happening to me? But nobody wins that. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Nothing good ever comes from
I
that.
feel like you do win because it's like it makes them feel like more of a piece of shit. It's like I never burn a bridge. But like eventually if they're going to be an asshole to you and you're like whatever and I'll still be good to you, that like then it was like, well, I'm the bigger person, so you're the piece of shit and you're always going to be the good guy. You come out like looking good no matter what. So that's how I am. I don't burn bridges, won't do it.
Exactly. And I think like just being, even though somebody does that, like you said, it's sort of the turn the other cheek type thing, you end up feeling better internally about yourself versus if you went after that like revenge route. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
The person that turns the other cheek always wins in the end